Carissa's out today, but we're lucky for an upgrade. We got a special guest with us here. Jason Farley was in. We'll let you meet him right after this.
Good morning.
And we're back.
We're just talking about a wind-blown buffalo.
Yeah.
Pretty good breeze.
Yeah, that's right.
Got a little breezy last night.
They don't need wings when wind blows like that.
Yeah. All right,
Well,
we have a special guest today.
Yeah, recent inductee to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
How about that?
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool deal.
That is a cool deal right here in Rogersville. We got all kinds of famous talent here. We got a world-class opera singer and championship bull rider and
all these good things.
fantastic realtor.
3,000 fantastic realtors.
Well, maybe 3,000 realtors.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
There is a lot of good ones in Rogersville, I will say. A lot of good ones.
That is
yeah.
good. Jason, why don't you tell the folks who you are?
Yeah.
Jason Farley. I am a professional rodeo clown, live here in Rogersville, and that's long and short of it, pretty much. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Now, I was promised that you would have a lot of good stories for us today.
I do have a lot of good stories. I'm not sure if we can tell them all on TV, but yeah, man. I mean, I've been doing this like last week made 35 years.
Oh, wow.
Being a rodeo clown, being in the rodeo arena. Got to share the dirt with a lot of cool people over the years, and man, from Alaska to New York, from North Dakota to South Texas.
Now, this was kind of fun. Before you got here, Lauren, Jason and I were comparing losing front teeth stories.
Oh, yeah. I have one, too. So, only part of one. So, if you haven't lost part of your front tooth, have you even lived? You know what I mean?
At least in the Ozarks.
You definitely don't get run over by large farm animals for a living.
I spend most of my time avoiding being run over by large farm animals,
Yeah,
you
well.
know. Yeah, but not you.
Poor folks got to do all kinds of things for money. You know, that's where I'm at in life.
That's hilarious. Oh, goodness.
How'd you get into that?
Yeah.
That's my biggest question.
Poverty. I didn't go to college. No, when I was in high school, I started running around with some boys in all places. Met them all in a speed reading class.
Yeah.
And they all high school rodeoed, and man, I was just enamored with the cowboy lifestyle, and I still can't read very fast. But we sat around there, and they talked about high school rodeo, and they talked me into getting on some bareback horses. And from bareback horses, I thought I'd try riding bulls. And from riding bulls, I started watching the clowns and the bullfighters. And so I went to school to learn to be a bullfighter and did that for the first 15 years of my career, and then transitioned into what I do now as far as being the entertainer and the barrelman.
That's
and
awesome.
the safety guy, too, right?
Yeah.
So my job is multi-sided. So during the events, I tell jokes and I'm the segue, comedy relief in between events. If things get slow, I step in, do some comedy. But when the bull riding comes around, it turns a little different. I work my barrel. So there are a lot of great rodeo clowns who are great entertainers who never step a foot in a barrel, or if they're in there, they don't move it. My claim to fame is that I work a barrel. I will walk it into a storm and help the bullfighters out, or let that bull get a piece of me instead of them.
That's interesting. Our long-term best fan, Beth, says, "Good morning, Waffle," and that she loves rodeos. Good morning, Beth.
Good morning, Beth.
There we go. And rodeos are awesome. I remember the first time I went to a rodeo. I distinctly remember that in my life in Licking, Missouri. I was from Houston.
Yeah.
And we went over to the rodeo.
Yeah,
and
they used to have a pro rodeo there. It's not. They may still have rodeo. They don't have the PRCA rodeo anymore. But
I very much remember that moment in my life.
Yeah, I love watching rodeo. And when the PBR came through last year, I looked at getting tickets, and I kind of got in there, and I thought, holy cow! It's you pay to go see rodeo.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. They're not cheap. They're not cheap to go.
It's a big deal, and it's a huge traveling organization. I mean, it's wild what all goes into it.
For sure. Yeah, and they're, the main two professional associations being the PBR and the PRCA. It's getting to be more and more like organized professional sports.
Yeah.
In the 35 years that I've been doing it, I've seen such a transition into a cowboy pastime to now a mainstream event.
Oh yeah. And I let's see, is it Cubans that do a lot of the bull?
Brazilians.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I got real into watching rodeo in high school and went to a couple.
There's some of those guys, and like I said, when I first started, one of the first guys come over was Adriano Marias, and
I met him one time.
Super good dude. His forearms are about the size of my thigh.
Yes.
This guy, James Harper, actually just passed away, longtime PRCA contractor, said he would rather one of his bulls get run through a cattle guard as Adriano draw him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and some of those guys really ride. The one downside of Brazilians and where I step in is they take forever in the chutes. They're so slow getting in and out of the chutes. So that's where I step in and start telling jokes. And pretty soon, I'm starting to look at my joke card. I'm telling stories from third grade. Come on, dude, come on. We gotta nod. We gotta ride a bull here.
We gotta go. They're probably they're really thinking, do I want to do this? Do I want to?
Oh man, there's some great competitors, and a lot of them will jump in together, and they're serious about it. A lot of the Brazilians, they're tough competitors.
It was so interesting because in high school I really got into it and watched it a lot and really liked Adriano, and then I didn't watch it for years, and then one day we turned on bull riding and I was like, half of these guys are from Brazil now. Yeah. Like, holy cow, it was a huge change in the business. Very interesting.
The first time I ever seen Adriano was in Delta, Colorado. I was in high school, and this was back before the PBR, back before they had a whole lot of standalone events. And he had just come in from Brazil, didn't speak a whole lot of English. And I was just a high school kid on the back of the chutes. Mm-hmm. And this bull come out, and just forevermore turned back. And you could hear every time that bull turned back, he'd lift a leg and just kick a hole in him. And won the deal. And I can remember the announcer vividly saying, well, I guess he's going to have enough money now to get back to Brazil. and without missing a beat, the guy next to me says, I'll buy him a ticket back to Brazil.
That's awesome. Oh, I bet you've met a just unimaginable amount of characters over the years.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, good, bad, and ugly. Yeah. And what for me as a 17-year-old kid, looking at people like Adriano and guys down the road, Lyle Sankey, several guys, big names in the event that I just looked up to. Now I call my buddies. I see them and they know me, I know them. And that would have made a 17-year-old me pretty excited.
Oh, yeah, to think about how far and how long and how much traveling this has allowed you to do.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, and after 35 years, I tell people I don't travel to rodeo, I rodeo to travel.
Yeah.
And my wife is a travel nut. Anytime we go anywhere, she maps out state parks and national parks, that we can stop along the way. And, of course, we go to Alaska every year, usually do the state fair, and then fly over to Kodiak and do their little state fair. And my wife won't go to Oklahoma or Texas in the summertime, but she always clears her schedule to go to Alaska for some reason. So,
weird.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to get back to the rodeo, but before we get everywhere else, you guys have a local business. It's very popular.
Yeah,
I want to make sure you get to talk about that.
Creedstown Ranch, wedding event center. If you're planning on getting married or if you need to host some kind of event, man, get a hold of us. We have a very unique, it's not your white barn Cinderella type place.
Beautiful.
Cool,
it is a very
super
rustic, very cool place, 4,000 square foot reception hall. And my wife is a machine. Now, she is a wedding savant and event savant. It amazed me how much she can do out there and all the hats she wears. So.
Yeah.
It's a super neat place. It really is. Been to events out there, and did an interview with you guys one time out there.
Yeah.
It's just a really neat, unique place.
Yeah, the only wedding venue that I know of that has a buffalo.
Yeah.
And you got some llamas?
I've got a llama. I used to do a lot of like petting zoo events with him and llamagrams. Valentine's Day, we'd haul him around, dress him up, and
Right.
yeah, I
That
still
was
do a
nice.
little bit of that here and there, not as much as we used to. Still have several petting zoo animals out there at the venue. Horses, we've got goats, we've got the buffalo, of course, got some exotic bulls, some mini bulls, tortoise. Several animals that just cost a whole lot in feed.
Oh, I know. They're animals. It's like you got to do it because you love them.
And we talk about getting rid of them. Then the next question was, well, which one are we going to get rid of?
Yes,
And
yeah.
so in the past 6 years, talking about getting rid of some, I've sold one pony.
Yeah.
And I regret that. So
Beth asked, "Do you know Jared Doherty?"
I do know Jared, man, and what a great comic. Works down in Branson as a comedian. Also does some rodeo clown work, and just a super cool dude. I met Jared, probably 8-9 years ago, after the rodeo here in Springfield, and we've maintained to be friends. And he's just a solid human.
Very
just
cool.
Such a cool dude. I think he was Branson Comedian of the Year a few different times. Yeah,
That's awesome. One of them Ava boys. Ava produces some pretty good guys.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Well, I'm glad you got to come on.
yeah.
This is really cool.
Yeah. So tell me something about rodeo or back end that maybe would surprise people or that you wouldn't know if you're not kind of in the
That's a good
loop.
question.
Oh man, there's probably lots of stuff there. The first thing jumps to mind is how we can all be like a bunch of little 8th grade girls and kind of bicker at each other a little bit.
No,
but then at the
I
end of
can't
the day, we
imagine.
come together and are good friends. So there's definitely definitely an inner friendship there.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, and with that, it's like siblings. We kind of bite at each other a little bit sometimes, but at the end of the day, we're still good friends. So.
I'd say emotions are pretty high and hot, throughout these competitions, and I mean, there's a lot going on.
For sure.
Danger,
On our end of the deal, being contract personnel, it's a lot of business.
Yes.
So, we set our prices and such, and if somebody comes in after us and works a show cheaper than what we did, then they kind of set the bar a little bit lower.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of hard feelings that comes with that, or people
It's
coming in
understandable.
and, they might bid the show half of what you had it for. And and that causes a lot of hard feelings. So we try to maintain. If somebody calls me and wants me to come work a rodeo, my first question is, who worked it last year?
Yeah.
And I don't have my book right now. Let me go call. Let me see if I'm busy. And then after I hang up, before I call them back, I'll call that person and say, hey, what did you work this for last year? That way we're right there in the same ballpark.
Well,
and we're
that's
not
good.
leaving any money on the table. So
That's good.
yeah.
That's smart because that's I'd say that's a tricky element to all of this.
Yes, for sure. And once in a while, and I still, after doing this for several years, I still mess up and book one before I call somebody and find out they booked it a little higher than I did, and then I feel dumb, that I could have got a little more.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you all are doing something very specific and important to it. And I could definitely see, promoters, different things like that, kind of trying to take advantage of that if they could,
Oh,
if
for
all
sure.
possible, because it's all about money. I mean, they're running a business. They're trying to figure out how they can make as much money as possible on these events.
As where we know how to try to get the most, there's promoters out there that know how to squeeze the lemon till every drop of juice is gone.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially with young guys. Hey, if you'll come this year and do it for this amount, we'll remember you next year. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that over the years. And,
Yeah, I remember you. Bye.
Yeah, and that's the last
exactly.
time you
Yeah.
hear from them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
That's
kidding.
pretty fascinating.
All right, now you talked about working the barrel and some of that, but maybe not everybody knows what that means. So, why don't you give a little nitty gritty details of what you're doing out there?
So as far as working the barrel, that barrel has two open ends. One end at the very bottom has a plate, but it's still open to where I can get my feet through. It has handles. I can pick it up and I can walk that barrel in to a wreck if a bull's fighting or whatever. I kind of made my name through the bullfights, freestyle bullfights with Mexican fighting bulls and such. In 2017 and 2018, I was the PRCA Barrelman of the Year. Only 2 years they gave that award, so I was really proud of that. So during freestyle events where they're doing the competition with the bulls, man, I'm the safety guy. If one of those Mexican bulls gets a guy down, I run that barrel in, let him get a piece of it. Or if he's getting tired, I'll walk it in there, let him work the barrel with the bull a little bit and help his score. But during rodeos, it's kind of the same deal. There's usually 2 bullfighters. In the PRCA, you have to have at least 2 bullfighters. So I'm sitting there watching, and I'm watching from a safe distance, and I don't want to get in their way. But if the bullfighters start to get out of place, or if the bull rider gets thrown away from them to where they can't catch him, I'll run that barrel in and drop it real quick and let the bull hit me instead of the bull rider. So yeah, it's just a whole lot of, and it's reading the animals a lot.
Yeah.
You have to know where to be and when to be. You don't want to be too fast getting in there. You don't want to be too slow getting in there. So.
When it hits the barrel,
Yeah.
I mean, how much of a shock is that?
Man, it just depends. Like I said, I work a barrel a lot, so I like to stay up pretty close. The hardest I've ever been hit has been when I've had my barrel back way away from everything, and one see me throw his head up, and man, he comes running.
It has some time to get some momentum. Yeah.
My good friend Robbie Hodges says, "You want to be hit by a Volkswagen in first gear or third gear?" So
Yeah.
if I'm from me to you and he comes and he hits it, I'm pretty tight. It doesn't hurt too bad. But if he gets a run at me at 30, 40 yards and he comes and tattoos that thing,
It's going to hurt.
That's
Yeah.
when you start needing teeth replaced. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about that, and I'm not ever going to do that.
No?
And with that,
Nope.
working the barrel, I mean, and things happen, that shouldn't happen. Sometimes they'll come by, and after I drop, I'll have a back foot come in. Or if I'm down, a lot of times they catch me on the backside, right in the back of the leg with a horn or a hoof if they get on the other side of that barrel. So there's lots of things that could happen. On the Cowboy Channel a couple years ago, I was doing one of the PRCX bulls, and this bull was coming to me, and I thought he was going to hit me. And I was like, oh, no, I'm waiting. I thought, well, I'm going to drop. So I dropped, and as he come by, he stuck that back foot right straight down. And I was getting calls the next day asking if I was alive.
Oh, my gosh.
He just caught me just basically on the shoulder and the arm. But if I'd been pivoted just a little bit more, he caught me in the back of the neck.
Oh, my gosh.
So there's lots of. It's not for pregnant women or children under the age of
No.
5. It's a rough event. So.
I'd say.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Boy.
And I'm sure you've got those. That was the craziest moment type stories. I'm sure you've got multiple
tons of
those.
them. Yes, yeah, for sure.
I mean, is there like the one that you're like, man, I don't know if I want to do this anymore?
No.
It's just always that's your thing.
No, it's after 35 years as being a bullfighter or a barrel man, I've never missed a performance for being hurt. I've worked with broken ankles and everything else, and it's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's healthy or not. People ask me all the time when you're going to retire. I'm not. I'd have to go to work first before I retired.
Yeah.
I love what I do, and I don't see myself stopping at any time.
How many months out of the year? Because it kind of goes in chunks, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't
for
that
sure.
right?
So the busy time of year is from right now till October. for me.
Okay.
Now, I may book a rodeo or two in January, may book some in November here and there, but it gets real sporadic for me from November to March.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And this year, I'm actually getting a lot later start than I usually do. Usually, I get fired up by about March, April.
Yeah.
And now I'm fixing to go here in a couple weeks, and then I'll be pretty busy till October.
Well, always let us know if you're working around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have one show here close to home. I have the bullfights at the fair in Springfield. And I think it's August 7th. I'm going to make a screaming trip in and fly out the next morning at 6 o'clock.
Oh, my.
But I'll be here, and I'm not working the barrel for that or anything. I'm just there with a mic and talking smack. So
So where are you originally from?
that's a long story.
Okay.
I don't.
We got time.
I don't like admitting this. Originally, I was born in California.
Oh,
See why? It's like, I hate to tell that. I got out of there as quick as I could. Arkansas mostly.
Okay.
I moved around a lot as a kid. I went to one school for 2 full years. Other than that, I moved at least once a year, sometimes 3 times a year.
Okay. Well, that kind of makes sense with the traveling.
Yeah. And now, I mean, it kind of makes what I do now. It's really helped me out. I can go anywhere and feel at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to school in Colorado, mostly Arkansas, but yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Very cool.
Well, what got you here? Now, I always like to know what got people right here, Rogersville, Southwest Missouri area.
Well, I married Jenny, and I was in Kansas at the time, and she kind of expected me to live in the same state as her.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought that's why. I
Yeah.
thought it was Jenny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
It's a great place to end up.
It is, and
Yeah.
it's and I've always lived, either Arkansas or for the past several years in this area. When I say this area, within 200-300 miles, and it's great because it's centrally located.
Yes.
If I need to go do a show in Arizona or if I need to go to New Jersey, it's all about the same. You know.
Yep.
Is it different doing a show in New Jersey than it is doing a show in Oklahoma?
Oh, son, yes. Let me tell you, and people ask me,
I'm really glad to hear that. That warms my heart.
yes, people ask me all the time, "Where's your favorite place to rodeo?" And it blows their mind when I say, without a doubt, New Jersey.
Yep.
Is that right?
Cowtown Rodeo, the oldest running PRCA weekly rodeo in the world. They do a PRCA rodeo every Saturday night
Isn't that interesting?
from spring to fall, and they'll pack 4,000 people in there, and they're wild. You go to Oklahoma and Texas, they're rodeoed out. You know, I have to dig deep when I have to throw everything in my tackle box at people in Texas because they're rodeo people.
Yeah.
But you go back east where there's still a little bit of romanticism to it.
Yeah.
And I, literally, when I'm at Cowtown, I can walk into the arenas. They're introducing me. And all I have to do, I don't have to say a word. I can walk to the crowd and do this. And they come apart. So they spoil me there. And I would stay there if, it wasn't for it's hard to progress your career there.
Sure.
Because all the people that need to see you is not going to be there.
Yeah.
But as far as fans, man, the East Coast is where it's at.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. It's more unique.
I mean,
there.
it's kind of a total novelty there,
Yeah. For
probably.
sure.
Like, we don't get, this is not life here. This is
They've
something
been
completely
there,
different.
they've been doing the Cowtown Rodeo for like 75 years or so.
Isn't that
there.
wild?
And it's a great place to go.
That's cool.
Well, you're in I was coming in here this morning. I was on Highway 60, and there were several near misses because some guy's driving a backhoe down Highway 60 at 7:30 in the morning, rush hour
that's
traffic.
probably not
Everybody's doing 70 miles an hour or more.
Yeah.
And here's a dude doing 30 on a backhoe, not on the shoulder, by the way.
Just in the lane.
left,
Yeah.
in the right lane.
Surprisingly, though, South Jersey's that way.
Is that it's
so
rural. It's a rural part
I
of
mean,
the state.
when you think Jersey, everybody thinks New York. But I can fly into Philadelphia, and I can be on the ranch in about 25 minutes. And as soon as you cross the Delaware River, you drop into country just like this. It's all farm ground.
It's interesting.
More deer and turkey than there are right here, and it's they're sure enough cowboy
Yeah, I've
there.
seen the Meadowlands episode of The Sopranos.
Oh, that is
Down
right.
neck
Yes.
and all that.
Yes.
They all go out in the woods.
Yeah. Now you're not too far from
Bury the people they've killed.
Yeah.
from the city any which way you go there, but it's still very rural around that
That's
part.
very
Yeah.
interesting.
is
I have not spent I've basically spent no time in the Northeast. So
I think I have passed through New Jersey. That's about
Yeah.
it. But
just haven't. I took a road trip out to Philly one time.
Yeah, I mean it's like anywhere, expect like New York. When you say New York, everybody thinks the city.
Yeah.
And then you get up
got
there in
upstate.
upstate, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Anywhere I go, I can find something cool.
Yeah.
And after so many years of doing this, that's one of the things I love to do. No matter where I'm at, I want to go. I want number one, I want to taste the local food.
Yes.
If I'm in Maine,
You're
I want
talking to
lobster.
kindred
Yeah,
spirits.
yeah.
If I'm in New York City, I want to go to Times Square and eat a hot dog.
Yeah.
Places like that, and I want to go see the sights. I want to go see the world's largest ball of string.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Minnesota.
Yeah. I'm glad you know where it's at.
Weird Al wrote a song about it.
I do have a show in Minnesota this year. Not Grand Rapids, Park Rapids, Minnesota, over the 4th of July, and I love that up there too.
Do you get
That's
to
cool.
do much or any international?
No, I never have. I would love to. I've got some friends that go to like Australia and have done that. The people there at Cowtown in New Jersey back in the 80s, or I guess it's the late 80s, probably they went over and put on some rodeos in Spain. So I would love to do that, but really rodeo is not much anywhere else other than right here.
Yeah, I kind
Really?
of figured.
Yeah. I mean, there's something
That kind of makes
Mexico
sense. I never
A little
thought
bit.
about it.
Yeah.
Well, the
There'd be in
skills
Mexico,
are
yeah.
primarily American skills.
Yeah.
Or Australian. You know, they
Mexican and Spanish. But I mean, there's not a whole lot of rodeo. Now, there's like over in Europe, but it's all American based.
Yeah.
It's like the military has some kind of rodeo association, I think, that may
see.
do something over there.
Yeah, I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that
you're not
is
running
kind of,
5,000 head of cattle on England,
Right.
England land.
Yeah,
or-
no.
Rodeo is America's original sport.
That's very interesting. I'd never thought about it that deeply before, and I mean that would make complete sense. It was kind of born here.
I want to travel internationally. A couple of years ago, I got to go into my 50th state, so I've seen all 50 states, but I've never traveled abroad any. I've been to Mexico. That's
Well,
that.
Mm-hmm.
you need to go to Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
You would love it. Yeah.
I bet.
We got to go down there about a year ago, I guess. It was almost a year since we
Yeah.
were down there. But yeah, it's definitely got a cattle flavor in the right part of it.
Yeah.
'Cause, all that beef and everything.
Yeah, I would love to go down like Argentina and Brazil and there. I mean,
Yeah, that's
but
cool.
Spain, I'd love to go see the bullfights in Spain.
Yeah.
You know.
That's mind blowing. Yeah.
So was that that hoof through that came in there? Was that your closest call? Or
Oh gosh, no. No,
Okay.
I've had a ton. Anywhere on my body you can think, I've had horns or hooves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I caught a horn to the face when I was still fighting bulls. Kid got whipped down into a corner, and I went and took the bull in the corner, and he caught a horn under my vest and flipped me around. He swung again and hit me right here. And everything, I mean, I was so swelled up, I could put my finger in this side of my mouth. This side of my mouth was closed. And for over a year, I didn't have any feeling in my teeth. I could feel it when I drink. Is like I'd been to the dentist, and when that come back, it come back in a vengeance. And then, of course, then again, had to have a bunch of dental work and such. But and that's just one time. I mean, I've broke ribs and ankles and stuff that I didn't go see about.
Anything you ain't broke?
Oh yeah.
He's like, I got a few left.
Yeah,
Just wondering.
So I've got one rib right here that's pretty good. Other than that,
Yeah, I got my
it's all
ear
crashed,
bones and I got
my heart's
toe.
been broke like 9
Oh,
times. but
yeah.
That's okay.
It says every rodeo guy ever. Yeah. And every girl that's spent any time around rodeo guys.
yeah, we're all evil. So,
Oh gosh, Beth says she was at a PBR event in Springfield where one of the bulls escaped in the parking lot near the end of the event.
Yeah,
That's
that
exciting.
happens. That happens every now and then. Thank God for good cowboys. They have usually got some men on horseback that can go out there and rope them and take care of it pretty fast.
Oh man.
Interesting.
And one thing, you and Jenny participate in so much stuff in Rogersville.
Sure.
You guys, you don't just live out at Creedstown and do your thing out there. You are part of this community. I see you guys everywhere. And I'm like, how are they everywhere? They're so busy people, but you make time for
we
it.
don't sit still.
That's awesome.
And Jenny is if you know her, she's an Energizer bunny. She
Yeah.
keeps going and going and going.
So guess where I ran into Jason to set this up?
Where's that?
The dentist.
That makes sense. That really tracks. You two could probably just keep Sam in business.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
We're
And what a
doing
good
pretty
dude,
off
man!
it.
This I just started using Sam this past year, and man, love them folks over there.
Yeah, he's a neat guy. Really unique person.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Talented musician.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But no, I see you guys everywhere, and I mean, it was just like immediate too. Like you moved here, and you're in there, and you're doing things, and donating your time for things, and
Well,
it's awesome.
we're like ZZ Top. We're bad nationwide.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. But no, it's really cool. And I saw the llama the other day at church, and the thing was hilarious. I've never seen an animal so patient and still my entire life.
Man, he is a trooper. You
Yeah.
set him up in somebody's house or in a building, and the thing about him, I may not catch him once or twice a year.
Yeah.
And like then, I think that was the third time that I caught him within a month, and that's the most I've ever used him. This is a new one I've only had for a couple of years, and so the first time I caught him, he was pretty good, and I took him to some kind of the venue we used him for that ladies' night we had at the venue, and then a week or so later, I caught him for the church. No, caught him for a deal at the architect firm in Springfield. And then when it come time to catch him for that church event, he was like, no.
I don't feel like going to church today.
I started at 1 o'clock. I was supposed to be there like at 4 or 5. And I had enough time by the time I had to bring in recruits. I mean, I was out there running. I had to change clothes. I was a muddy, nasty mess.
Oh, my
It's
gosh.
bad words and dirty names. But after we finally I had to rope him to catch him, and just got lucky. Finally got a rope on him and got him to church. And he's like, okay, we're good. Look,
Well, yeah.
I'm going to sit here. Of course, he's probably wore out. But no,
That is
he's awesome.
hilarious.
Anytime, once you get him caught, he's solid. You can have kids crawl under him or whatever. He's a
That's
trooper.
so funny.
Yeah, I've had several llamas over the years, and actually the males work better than the females.
Yeah.
The first thing, is that thing going to spit on me? And the females are a lot worse about spitting than the males for some reason. But he's a good boy. His name's Boone.
Boone,
Old
he
Boone.
just literally like a statue. Like, I'm here for pictures. This is what I do. This is my job.
Yeah, everything we have is pretty solid. Even the buffalo, we've used him for wedding pictures. Used to take him when he was younger into nursing homes, and
That's cool.
yeah.
I'm getting ready to take a trip to South Dakota, and I'm real anxious to
Go up to
see.
Custer State Park, yeah.
I'm real anxious to see
Crystal Lake.
Yeah,
Don't pet the fluffy cows there.
Yeah, no,
they're probably not like mine.
I have enough sense to avoid the wild animals.
There's a lot of good YouTube videos of people trying to pet
my
them.
Okay, I'm going to tell you my
Yeah.
my dream Halloween costume.
Okay.
Is that I'd love to dress up like a tourist. And just go in like boxer shorts and take my buffalo with me and hang my pants on him and like wear a camera and lead him around. That way I look like a Yellowstone tourist.
You need to make that happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Now the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame thing. How did that come about? Somebody nominate you? I don't know anything about the
Honestly,
process.
I have no idea. So I picked Jenny up from the airport. She came in from working somewhere, and we're almost home. And my phone rang. I didn't recognize the number. I thought, well, I'll take care of it here in a minute. Her and I were talking. And then after we got back to Creedstown, I seen the voicemail and listened to it. It said, this is Carrie Brewer from the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. I thought,
what?
well, they want a donation or something.
Yeah.
Know? And so I called him back and goes through his big spiel and says, we're inducting you into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. So automatically the switch turns on. This is one of my friends jacking with me because I've had things like this happen before.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sitting there okay. Uh-huh. Yeah, and I'm thinking, okay, who is this? This Hodges? Who's this messing with me? And even after I hung up with him, I went straight to Google and I get on the website, start looking up the board of directors. Of course, he's on there. I thought, man, they're diving deep into this. They're punking me hard.
Long con.
So it took
Still not convinced.
yeah, it took several until they had me up there on the stage. I was like, okay, this may be legit. So I don't know how it come to be. I'm sure glad it was. The event was awesome. Got to meet some it was all with outdoor sports
that's cool.
I was up there with professional bass fishermen and motocross rider, and it was awesome. Some
That's
super
neat.
cool, talented people, and man, what an honor.
That's
Yeah,
really
it
cool.
is. Yeah, that's really.
Where are they moving that? Because I mean,
Is that what
don't
they're
know.
doing? They're
Yeah,
moving
yeah,
it?
they're
I saw
Yeah.
the construction or whatever.
Yeah, they're not in the old building there now. They're moving downtown somewhere, I think.
I noticed all the work going on over there. I'm just very curious about what they're doing to that building.
Yeah,
But
I
I
don't
think
know.
it'd be good probably for them to move. I'd like to see them in a more like downtown populated type
I like
area.
to think that they had to move to a bigger warehouse to put my
Yes.
enshrinement. No,
Yeah.
I
that
have no
was
idea.
the thing that really tipped them over the edge.
sure.
That was the big one.
I have no idea where they're moving, but I wish them well. They're good folks.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a neat accomplishment.
Thank
That's very cool.
Maybe they're going to move that Hammond sign off of Hammond's Field.
Oh my
over
gosh,
there.
that's a controversy.
Isn't
Oh
it?
man, yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of surprised by that. It's kind of interesting to me.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the motivation is for something like that is. I mean, those probably generational people moving on or just all the rest was getting old. But I mean, those of us that remember when he was around, I mean, he was a self-promoter. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Believe me. And he put his name on a lot of stuff, but big deal. But to come in and I mean, he made that happen, and
He made a lot of things happen
it's
for
a
Springfield.
little maybe disrespectful to just start tearing his name off of stuff
It's
like that.
It's kind of a very interesting deal because he didn't have any children, and so he doesn't. And
Because that led to a big probate and all.
well, and things got tricky with his estate. So I mean, it's he had a lot of success and plenty of failures too. I think, like most people that
you
bet
got
on
to.
big things like that. But that's kind of an interesting controversy right now. I kind of don't know where I land on that. But I don't have any buildings named after me, so it's kind of hard to have a strong opinion. But
I don't think it's going to improve attendance any.
does the city own the ballpark
Yeah,
now?
that's the deal. The city.
A year from now, nobody will.
Yeah, that's my thing. And that reminds me of what I was going to ask you. So things change quicker now than they used to.
Right.
And now we've got technology, AI, different things like that. Are you seeing any big major changes in the rodeo world? Not necessarily with AI, but just how things have changed because of the internet and social media and all that.
For sure. I see a lot of the younger guys have a bigger social media presence.
Yeah.
And some of them, it really helps their career. I'm an old dinosaur, and I struggle with that. I struggle with self-promotion and promotion at any given level.
We're going to help you out today.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, millions are watching right now. Oh, yeah. We have no reason to believe there's not at least 100 million.
I can't complain. Gosh, I've been at it for a long time and I stay busy. But
Yeah.
there's definitely younger guys that use the internet and such to their advantage, and I try.
Sure.
Jenny does a great job with doing it as far as the venue and such. But as far as my rodeo business, I struggle with that. I'll kind of post some stuff,
Yeah.
highlights from time to time. But like I said earlier, like the PBR and the PRCA, it's getting to be more and more like professional sports. And so they have to stay relevant in social media and things like that and technology. So,
It's very flashy. I mean,
Yes.
everything is, to keep people's attention. You got to really.
Everybody else and myself included has an attention span about that big.
Yeah. It's not just enough to have giant animals trying to kill you.
Right, yeah.
We need to add some pyrotechnics too.
And with that, it's the game has changed so much. From the 80s, if you had a little exploding box or something out there, man, you could stay busy. But now you have to really up your game with acts and different things. I mean, you have to be bringing some next level stuff to stay busy.
That's pretty interesting.
It is interesting.
I've got a new act coming this year. I'll use here in a few weeks. It's an airplane that blows up, the wings fall off, and has a big American flag at the end of it, pops up, and so I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be
That's
a cool
fun.
act,
Sounds cool.
yeah.
I'll bet the America's 250 is probably going to be impactful in that.
For sure. Yeah, I got a call a couple days ago. They're talking about doing like a Wild West show in Washington, D.C., right there at the mall.
That's a neat idea.
Yeah, I hope. I don't know if it's a done deal yet. They're kind of waiting to the last minute to do it, but they're asking me about my buffalo, of course, and a few things. So
Very
we'll see
cool.
if that happens or not.
Yeah, we've decided that one of my neighbors and I have decided that we need to get everybody around town encouraged to decorate for 250.
For sure.
From like Memorial Weekend all the way through 4th of July.
Yep.
So stay tuned for that. We're going to get more information. We're going to try to get some maybe businesses to donate gift cards or something to like get for prizes. And we just want to see the town full-blown patriotic. I think that'd be fun.
That would be very cool.
Yeah, I mean, we only get to probably, celebrate 250 years one time. So
Probably.
hopefully that would require a whole rise and fall again, and we would rather not.
Well,
do
let's
that,
just
so.
shoot for 300 instead.
Let's do 300. I like that. Yeah, so it's a big deal and it's exciting, and I think that's a neat thing too to be going through, rodeo, all that's
Absolutely.
going on.
Man, it's
a very
that
patriotic
part
thing.
of the sport. Yeah, rodeo is it's one of the few sports where they celebrate God and country.
Yeah.
And man, that's one of the reasons I love it.
Absolutely.
No matter where I'm at, I go up because they always do what they call Americana at the very first, where they bring in the flags or some kind of riding group that comes in and they do. An announcer always gives a big patriotic speech. Man, I'm always there. I love to watch it. And man, I've seen crowds start chanting USA.
Yeah.
USA. And man, if that don't choke you up, you need to go find a shady corner somewhere and get right with God. But,
Yeah.
Well, we
Beth
got
says, millions in her watching.
Yeah, we got a few minutes left.
Yeah.
Tell us what we want to hear. Tell us what we need to hear. Give us a good stories.
Oh, good
Or what you
stories.
want the people to hear.
Oh man, I have no idea as far as that. I do always like to say that I'm very blessed to get to do something as a 17-year-old kid wanted to do, and I was probably voted least likely to succeed. And just out of sheer stubbornness and grit, I'm still doing it. And I'll continue to do it. I think of Liesl Harris. He died when he was like 83 years old. He just finished a performance and went to his motel to lay down and passed away in his sleep. And I thought, man, what a great story.
What a life. Yeah.
And that's what I'd like for myself. I want to keep doing this until I can't anymore. The Lord takes me home. But I try not to take for granted any day that I have. I've seen good days and I've seen some horrible days.
Yeah.
But I know at the end of every day that I'm blessed and that I get to do something in a country that allows me to do something that I love. So.
Jason,
wonderful.
thank you so much.
Oh,
for
thank y'all
awesome.
for having me.
This
I've
is probably
enjoyed
my
it.
favorite show.
Yes,
I
this
think
is a
had
hoot.
had a great time today.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back sometime.
Yeah, would love to anytime.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week with more waffle.